Oranga Tamariki. The new Ministry for Vulnerable Children has officially opened its doors, marking the end of the beleaguered child, youth and family. The creation of the new ministry has been controversial, with accusations it could take Māori away from whānau, that it lacks resources and staff, and of course criticism over its name. Our political reporter May Heron was at the launch today of the 15th redo of CYF in the 28 years since the agency was formed.
With moko painted on their faces, poi at their hips and feathers in their hair, children from Wellington's Te Aro School kicked off the official event. The Children's Minister, Anne Tolley, insists this isn't a rebranding exercise.
We've started out as we mean to continue, with children and young people at the absolute centre of everything we do.
Oranga Tamariki was created following a review by an expert advisory panel in 2015, which found the system was fragmented and lacked accountability. Child, Youth and Family has been under review almost continuously since its inception in 1989 and has been restructured 14 times. But this latest overhaul is its biggest yet. Anne Tolley says there is no quick fix, and today is only the starting point.
It will be a major shift away from a system that has responded to a crisis, to one which will provide early support to keep families together, and one which acknowledges and addresses the trauma suffered by children.
The ministry has had its fair share of criticism. Earlier this month, the minister was forced to go back to the drawing board after pushback from Māori around a part of legislation which puts safety above the priority of placing a child with a member of their family or wider hapu. Concerns also remain around money, resources, and that the ministry is too narrowly focused. John Tamahiri from the Urban Māori Authority, Te Whānau or Waipareira, is convinced the only thing that has changed is the name.
Just to rename it the Vulnerable Children's Agency and reflag it seems a bit trite in regard to its systemic and deeply embedded poor management, particularly out of the Ministry of Social Development, one of the worst performing ministries we have.
The Child Poverty Action Group's Mike O'Brien says there's been little thought to the process.
It does seem as if the whole thing has been really quickly rushed through to get a piece of legislation and a new ministry in place, and that seems to be driven by political agendas as much as anything else.
However, the Prime Minister, Bill English, says the key to this ministry's success is keeping children and young people's voices strong throughout. He laid down this challenge to the ministry's Youth Advisory Panel.
I think it's pretty important you understand that part of your job is to upset us. Well, I will know it's working if I hear complaints about how assertive you are about what you're saying. Because government's a big machine, it can kind of, even for politicians, it can kind of crowd you in a bit. So don't let that happen, will you?
From tomorrow, the legislation as part of the overhaul will come into effect, including the creation of a new independent youth advocacy service, Voice, Whakaranga Mai, and the ability to keep children in state care until they turn 18. There is more legislation still to make its way through Parliament. From Parliament, ko May Heron, tēnei.